If your FYP is anything like mine, you've seen a whole bunch of people taking on the Eat Like Jelly Bean Sweets challenge, and you're wondering what's going on and why do people enjoy doing this and watching this. So that's what we're gonna find out today. What's up, YouTube? It's tinysey and welcome to my digital garden. So lately I've seen a rise in feeder content on TikTok, and one creator in particular has got this trend started. Her name is Jelly Bean Sweets and she has around 1.3 million followers on TikTok. Now, when I first saw her on my feed, she used to do Just Dance live streams and she'd be doing these things for hours. I'd get on the app, I'd see her doing her thing, get off, pop back on, she's still dancing. Then she disappeared from my feed for a while, and when she popped back up, she was doing these mukbang videos. At least I thought it was just mukbang. But when I looked in the comments, everyone was saying, this is feeder content, this is feeder content, this is feeder content. And from that moment on, her content has only become more controversial and viral. So we're gonna dive into mukbang and particularly feeder content and discuss what it really is, why it could potentially be dangerous, and really just the controversy around it. So let's get into that topic. So this all really starts with mukbang content. So first we need to figure out what that is. I'm sure we've all heard of it, but for those that don't know, let's start there. So this content started in South Korea around 2014. A lot of people in Korea were lonely and unhappy, and oftentimes they would go home and eat on their own. And these content creators would be live streaming on a platform called Africa TV. And so they'd be able to comment with them, interact with them, send them money, much like on a platform like Twitch. So a lot of people that liked watching this felt as though it was a stress reliever, or even that they can have somebody there. It's kind of a parasocial relationship type of thing. And eventually, due to its popularity in Korea, it spread to being on YouTube and a whole bunch of other platforms, even TikTok, as we see today. And originally, this was something that took a long time to record. These would be like 30-minute, hour-long videos of them just eating. Because TikTok isn't really the place for long form, people are starting to do these sorts of challenges with the mukbangs where they eat it super quickly or they eat it within 2 or 3 bites. Like, people have found a lot of creative ways to transfer this mukbang category onto shorter platforms that don't give you an hour long to just sit there and eat and interact with your viewers. So it's definitely morphing and changing. But that brings us to feeder content. What is feeder content? Feeding is something within feedism, and this is a sort of subculture that fetishizes eating and gaining weight. So the feeders want to feed their partners and the feedies want to be fed. And so there's this mutual relationship, I guess, that goes on. And it usually is a man that wants to see a woman gain weight. There's this sort of thing where it's taboo for women to gain weight, which is so true in society. Like, women are supposed to be skinny. So something about seeing a woman overeat or eat a lot of food for a man, like, gets him going. Of course, a woman could also be the feeder, but largely we're seeing that men are the ones that like to feed the woman because of the taboo nature of it all. And there's probably other aspects that gets them going, but that's one of the big things that I was finding. To me, this felt like something that might be intimate, something that happens in a relationship. So I was wondering why they were accusing this TikTok creator, Jelly Bean Sweets, of being a feeder or giving feeder content. And what are the main differences between a regular old mukbang video versus, I guess, a feeder video? So some of the differences that we're seeing between something that you would call mukbang versus feeder is dripping food. Things have to look a little bit messy and things have to drip down. That's one of the aspects that I think they're considering to be feeder content. The second thing that people are pointing out that makes something feeder content is an exposed belly. So if you have an exposed belly in these videos, or you're showing that area, this is also considered feeder content, because again, the subculture is about, you know, seeing a woman gain weight, and so I'm guessing exposing the belly has something to do with them deciding that it's feeder content. Another one is audible sounds of the chewing and just like the gasping. That's something that they want to hear. Now, to me, that's something that you hear in mukbang videos as well, but apparently this is another aspect that they're saying means that you are doing feeder content. But in my opinion, from the videos that I've watched, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. So I don't know. It's a new genre for TikTok that's being introduced, and it's probably going to start to become a thing. I'm sure as the genre expands, it'll be more clear what is what and who's doing what. But for now, it's very blurred lines. And I think Jelly Bean Sweets might be the first to go this viral and do that type of content. If she's doing that type of content, we don't know.
Now, Mr. Knuckles. Hypnotize. Hypnotize. Yes. Hypnotize. Hypnotize.
And the next question that I had was, what do people enjoy about this content? What is it about mukbangs, feederism, whatever it is that people like? The first thing that I found was that according to studies, people view these content creators as their meal mates or their meal buddies. So essentially when they're eating their food or they're doing whatever it is, they could be working, whatever. It's like a parasocial thing. And so it keeps them company. That's my meal buddy. I'm eating with my meal buddy. So that's one. The second one that I found is ASMR. So that one makes a lot of sense, I guess. Some of these people are making sure that they have the high quality mics. They make sure that the bite is really being heard. The crunch is being heard. And so there's an ASMR aspect. It triggers something within people that calms them down and makes them feel more soothed. And that's why some people might like watching these mukbang type style content videos. Some people use it as a diet tool. So watching the mukbangers eat like fast food, really junky stuff, because a lot of the time it is a lot of junk food, or it is just like probably food you shouldn't be eating if you are on a diet or trying to lose weight. They can watch these videos and in turn feel satisfied. Sometimes it's just purely entertainment, especially the ones on TikTok, because they'll eat it super quickly, or I'm gonna eat it in 3 bites. I'm gonna eat it in 1 minute.
Imagine focaccia with truffle. All right. Okay. Oh my god, I need to think strategically. Here. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am so impressed. Oh my god. You hungry?
They found a way to make it a little bit more about entertaining people rather than enjoying the food. And that probably brings in the fascination that people have. It brings out a lot of emotions. You might be feeling like disgusted. You might be feeling happy. It triggers a lot of things in people. So I think that's also a factor as to why a lot of people watch these mukbang videos. Research has also showed that there is that factor where men like watching thin, pretty women gorge themselves and just eat a whole bunch of food because, again, there's that taboo. And so research does back that there's something going on there. Some men, or at least enough men, have stated that this is why they watch mukbang channels. In a study conducted by Donner, the researchers found that thin and attractive women who participated in mukbang videos typically had overweight men as their primary audience for the videos. So if you are doing mukbangs, there's a lot of people you could decide to cater to. It could be ASMR, it could be the rage bait, it could be entertainment, it can be the men that like to see the thin, attractive women gorge themselves. So there's a lot of people you could play to, but that does also mean that there are some mukbangers that are probably trying to cater to the men that like to see women overfeed themselves or just gorge themselves with a lot of food. When I used to see mukbangs in the past, they weren't eating too much food. It looked like a regular spread. They were sitting there talking, interacting, and it just felt largely normal. I was kind of like, what's going on here? But now it does feel a little bit more extravagant and a bit gimmicky sometimes. A lot of things go to the extreme when competition is there. They have to find new ways to keep people's attention and make their way into the market. A lot of it has become about the money and the analytics, and so people are willing to do things that could potentially be dangerous for themselves in order to get the most amount of views that they possibly can. Food is apparently the most popular category on YouTube, and you can make around $10,000 a month as a mukbanger. And I'm sure there is a pressure that a lot of these content creators feel to become more extreme, to become more extravagant, to have larger spreads on their table. Especially with mukbangers, I think they center the food a lot more than what I think might be feeder content. They usually are showing the spread on the table, the array of different things that they're about to eat. There usually is some sort of additional element to it. Whereas I feel like in the beginning, it was just purely, I'm going to eat with my audience and chat with them. Now they are trying to tap into as many different things as they can to keep the views coming. And I think the desire for views and money has tainted this field as it has with many other content genres. We've seen even with Avocado. He started out vegan and quite healthy, and slowly as his mukbang videos started to get more and more popular, and I'm sure the checks became larger and larger and larger, he continued to eat these large amounts of food to the point that he started to have breathing problems, issues with his ligaments, issues with his immune system becoming weaker because of the type of food that he was eating. And at the end of the day, it's about their health. And I guess when money gets involved, that starts to become less important to some of these content creators. Slowly but surely, it becomes this thing where they're doing it 2 to 3 times a week. And that's when eating these large amounts of food probably does become a bit more on the unhealthy side. And so now on TikTok, we're seeing this eat like jelly bean sweets trend where essentially they're trying to eat the food in the same manner that she does. And I'm not gonna lie, these videos are kind of funny. A lot of it is the burrito and Taco Bell order that she gets. And so they're like gulping down this Baja Blast and they're pouring all the sauce on the burrito and taking these huge bites.
Babe, chill out. All that sauce? Damn. Chill on the sauce.
I think it's jokes. They're not being serious, like trying to get into this type of content. But I do wonder if one of these videos went viral, if some people would be like, hey, maybe there's some money here. A lot of the times when money is involved, people's moral judgments can change and they start doing things that they wouldn't have done if money wasn't on the table. And so it's an innocent trend right now, but who knows where this is going to end up. Even Trisha Paytas took part in this trend. And so that's how I know that this is about to be a thing. Like, a lot of the big TikTokers are starting to take part in this eat like jelly bean sweets trend, but it is also introducing people to mukbangs and potentially feederism, because in the end of the day, I had no idea what this word was even a month ago, but now here I am knowing what it is. And so some people that are even willing to do this trend potentially could want to get into it. But I do think there are some dangerous aspects to it, like I said. So let's dive into what some of those things are, in my opinion. It's mostly become dangerous, I think, for the creators that take part in this culture. Of course, I think there are ways to do it safely, making sure, you know, how many of these are you doing a week? What type of food are you deciding to eat when you do these things? Making sure that you're regularly visiting the doctor. There's just things that you probably can do to make sure that if you are going to be in the mukbang genre as a content creator, that it's done safely. Specifically with Jelly Bean Sweets, she is a 19-year-old content creator that started out doing workout videos, and slowly but surely, due to the reaction she's gotten from these mukbang type videos, there's been an upkick in these types of videos that she's creating. And so a lot of people are correlating these videos with Avocado and saying how he did start out fairly healthy and slowly but surely his health declined because of the path that he decided to take. And so using him as a cautionary tale, they're saying we have to be careful so that more people don't fall down this path. We have to be careful that we look at that and say, okay, how can I make sure that doesn't happen to me? Or how can I make sure that if I'm going to do this, I do it carefully, I do it in a way that I can be healthy and also partake. Naturally, it seems as though feederism is about gaining weight. Therefore, there's no way to really do it healthily if the point is to gain weight. And Of course, gaining weight isn't always an unhealthy thing, but in some cases it can be a bad thing. I don't think that's on me or others really to judge, but I do think that it's something that people need to be educated on. You can be groomed into partaking into these things, especially on the internet, where you can make money for these sorts of things. You get attention. You could start out making, innocent mukbang videos where, you're being safe with it. And now you are taking part in something that is about gaining weight, or it is about these other things that I think separates feeder content from mukbang content. And so I think there is that concern about how people are getting into this content and if it was done in the correct manner. The viewers are also the ones that are funding their lives, essentially. And so I think sometimes when we see that these things are becoming dangerous, there is probably that moral responsibility to pay attention to what they're doing and whether that's somebody that you want to fund. And so in the end of the day, I think that feederism is definitely different from mukbang videos because of the aspect of gaining weight. There's many different aspects to mukbang that I think is mostly innocent and can be done in a healthy way, whereas feederism is more so about watching whoever is eating gain weight, and also the person that's eating showing the certain things that these people like, and even this word becoming something that people will now know of. I wonder what's going to happen with this genre. I wonder if it's going to grow and become more popular. And if it does, I hope it's people that are educated about it and are actually naturally interested in it. Personally, I'm not going to judge them on that sort of interest. Like, do you? As long as you're not hurting anybody, but also, yeah, you might be hurting yourself. Definitely something that I would caution younger people from getting into. There's a lot of gray areas there for sure, and it's a lot more nuanced, and we'll see how the situation develops. But it's definitely going to become more mainstream because of the conversation around this creator, Jellybean Sweet. I also feel like the category of mukbang has sort of become this more extreme thing because of the money and all the things involved in it. That doesn't mean that the genre is bad per se, because I think there are ways you can do mukbang and be healthy, but nonetheless, this category of content still does feel like one of the more dangerous forms of content creation for your body, in my opinion. And I also think that the audience has the responsibility to make sure that they are being careful of what content they decide to watch. It's like, of course, you're free to watch whatever you want, but personally, it's just like if you're seeing this person's health deteriorate before your eyes, it just becomes a bit sad. I also think with Jellybean Sweets that she potentially may have fallen down a path where she's found a way to make a lot of money at the risk of her health. You might eventually forego your morals or what you would have done naturally before, especially since she went from workout, just dance content to now like eating a whole bunch of food almost every single day. So it feels like the first video in comparison to what she does now with food is wildly different. And it's probably because of the reactions that she's gotten. So I see where the concern is coming from, but she is also her own person. And so I think in the end of the day, if you don't like it, don't support it. At least she's not harming anyone. It's sad to see somebody harm their own body, but in the end of the day, that's their own decision. They can do whatever they want. And other than that, the trend that it's starting looks innocent for now, but there are some concerns that it does become the gateway into people starting to create this content for themselves. Again, the only problem with that would be they also affect their health because of the attention that it brings them. So this is a very interesting trend that we're seeing, and I'm interested in hearing your guys' opinions. What do you think about mukbang or even feeder content? If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment a strawberry emoji in the comment section so I know you made it to the end. And that's all I have for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next YouTube video.